Hello, this is Julie. I wanted to show you some of the things that I have been able to sell in the month of September. I picked and choose some of the items. September was not real busy for me, which I guess was okay. I could take the time to stockpile for the winter time when we're knee deep, chest deep in snow and I can't get out. I'll still have things to list. But this first item, a Laura Ashley pillow shams. This has become my bread and butter type item. They sell real well used, as long as they don't have any major issues, and they're so easy to ship. And this is a Cricut cutting tool kit. For those of you that don't craft, look for the name Cricut and familiarize yourself with those crafting terms like Sizzix and such. There are a lot of crafters out there. I have met some ladies online that love to craft and either can't get out to shop or live too far away from a retail location, so online is how they shop, and so we need to get their interest so we can sell them things. This was a vintage Little Mermaid pillowcase. It looked like it had barely been used, so it was an easy $15 sale, very easy to ship. Got good feedback on that. Simply Shabby Chic is another brand of linens to look out for. Just real cute florals, shabby. I've found several pieces and have never had any difficulty selling them. So this just a twin fitted sheet. The buyer paid shipping and I sold it to them for $20. This is Mary Kay. My sister-in-law used to be a rep, and she was having a garage sale, getting ready to move to a new home. I bought a handful of perfumes because some of the discontinued people still like that fragrance, so they will look for the perfumes and colognes on the secondary market. This was 4 ounces, and I have not shipped cologne before, and I knew that it had to have special shipping protocol. So instead of just doing my shipping through eBay, I went to the post office. They said, sorry, it's over 3 ounces, we can't mail it. And I said, well, who can? And they said, well, try FedEx. So we went to the nearest FedEx. We don't ship that kind of thing. You'd have to go to the main hub. And so we traveled several more miles and went to the main hub. And they wanted the MSDS sheet, I think the material safety data sheet, to show how much actual alcohol content there was. Well, this is a discontinued item. How am I supposed to find that information? So I went to UPS. The local shop would not ship it. I would have to go to the hub. And I said, well, could you call them to see if they would send this? And they indicated I would have to go there. So after many miles, I told the buyer, I said, I'm not sure if I can get this thing to you. I know other people are selling it, but nobody will take it. And he was very kind. He sells perfumes as well, and he gave me some hints. And I just ended up calling the post office, the main post, I think it's probably 1-800 number. And I said, I have this 4 ounces of cologne. Can I ship it? He said, well, let me look into it. And a few minutes later, he came back, talked to a supervisor. He said, you can ship it ground. Which I guess I knew, but I assumed I could go to the post office and they would take care of that for me. So let my situation help you if you decide to sell cologne. Like I said, I assumed I could just go to the post office and they would take care of it. And I know many people ship perfume, and I knew it could be done, but nobody face to face would do it for me. So got that shipped off just fine. Oh my God, $50. Okay, I was at a church garage sale, and I think it's American Pickers or some show like that we can get on occasion. It says anything to do with gas stations, oil companies, I guess, sells. Well, I found this vintage Texaco shirt. It looked like, I think the patch said he was a Texaco driver, and then next to it was the cap, and I figured what a neat combination to sell. And it was actually in quite good condition. The hat was quite dingy, but the shirt was in good condition. And I sold this overnight for $40, and the person was very happy to have it. Pottery Barn kids valances for little kids' rooms. Very easy to pick up. The only thing I look for with curtains and valances is sometimes they can be faded from the sun. Normally they don't get spots or anything because they're on a window, but fading can be a big thing. And even if they're somewhat faded and you have two pieces that they're faded equally, you just disclose that, and maybe, if they look alike, it won't make any difference. This is a Couleur Naturelle by Bruno Lame. I didn't know who this was, but it sounded impressive. The tag, let's see if I can get a picture of the tag. The tag looked real impressive, 100% cotton, handmade. So I decided I would pick them up. I like to pick up placemats, and it took a little bit of time to sell, but it did sell for $30 for 6 placemats. And again, very easy. I just rolled them up and put them in a poly mailer, and off they went. Okay, this at a church garage sale, I found a bed skirt. And I know this is Waverly fabric, but it looked like the bed skirt was handmade. So I mentioned that it was custom made for a twin bed, but that it was authentic Waverly fabric. And this pattern of Waverly fabric is quite sought after, so that helped sell it, even though it was a well-made, handmade piece. So I made sure to show pictures of the seams and the hem and whatnot to show that it was well made and not just, thrown together type thing. Patterns I've been doing kind of hit and miss. I think some of the adult patterns do better, but you can't beat, if you find a pattern that has never been cut into and has all the all the tissue pattern pieces and the directions, it is so easy to ship, and you can usually get them for so inexpensively. Wallpaper border. I found these 6 rolls at a place that would help people clean out their nests before they became empty, and they usually sell things pretty inexpensively. This store was actually at that time getting ready to close to move to a new location, so everything was like 40% off. So I got 6 rolls of border for $3 and was able to sell it for $40 plus shipping. And the thing with this is they're all wrapped up, and it's a discontinued item, so it's difficult to show what it actually looks like. So I kind of lined them up to give some indication what the border might look like. This is Laura Ashley sheet. I try very hard to find what the pattern names are, because that, of course, people will look for pattern names, but some of the discontinued fabric line sites don't have everything, and I couldn't even find anything on comparables on eBay. But again, just a full fitted sheet for 30 bucks. This was kind of interesting. It got my attention because it was just kind of out there, and I could get it at Goodwill on their $1.99 day. It has fringes. It has a western buckle. I don't know if someone used it as a wedding dress or square dancing, so I included all those words in my title. And it was definitely vintage. I don't know if I can find a picture of the... There were a few comparables on eBay, and so I just decided, in Halloween, let's see, I put this up the end of August or beginning of September. I figured Halloween, or if someone seriously wanted a Western wedding or were a square dancer, but it did sell fairly quickly for $40. And it was, vintage sizes do fit differently, and I don't know that it actually had a size in it, but I tried it on, and I figured out with the measurements and how it fit me approximately what size it was. Here was just a mud brand sheet to look vintage or retro, and vintage and Hawaiian, and the pinup girl type thing was in good condition. It was a full flat sheet, and I did sell that for $30. I did find one little spot, which I always put pennies by my spot so people can get some kind of size indication, how big or small they are. I do try to spot clean. I'm not sure I tried it in this case, since there was just one little spot, and I did want to get it listed. This is Disney sheets set with airplanes. I had full flat, so I had this two-piece set, so that sold relatively quickly for $30. Okay, this was kind of interesting. It was a Twister flat twin sheet. It was vintage, and of course the game Twister. I just thought it was a fun novelty sheet. There were a few comps on eBay. There was even a new in the package set, I think, that they were asking $160 for. Mine was in good shape. It was probably like a normal vintage sheet that had kind of was thinner, but so I was able to sell that for $35. Okay, so those are basically my main sales for September. Those of you that watched my last haul video and BOLO item, some have wondered how that item went. And again, here is my Disney pre-Duffy hidden Mickey bear, just as cute as can be. She 17 inches tall. I had heard, I think Suzanne A. Wells does videos on what sells on eBay and such, and she had done a video, and I saw this plush bear, his tushy staring up at me with the Disney World tag on it, and I grabbed it and looked at it, and it's very unassuming. It's just a Disney bear. You think, what's the big deal? It's not a big deal, right? But I watch a lot of YouTube videos about resellers, and a lot of learning to be done, and I was able to get some little bit of internet service, enough to know that this can be very sought after. So I put it on auction because I just really didn't know how to price it, and I am glad to say that I did. So here was the final result. Had 10 bids, $615, and I probably should have just put free shipping when you're talking about that kind of money, but I didn't. But it didn't seem to matter. I did insure it for the full value. I did do signature confirmation just to make sure they couldn't say that it wasn't delivered to the right location or whatnot. It only weighed maybe 1.5 pounds, but it was definitely going priority. It took, I think because of the signature confirmation part of it, it took a while for the tracking to upload to show that it had been delivered and who signed it. So if you do signature confirmation, just cool your heels, and I guess, like I said, to get that extra little information in the system does take a little while. Of course, I was checking tracking a couple times a day, and finally the day after it was delivered and signed for, the tracking came up. So anyway, that if I could do that about once a week, that would be good, but this might be a once in a lifetime find, but feel very blessed to have found it, and that it has found a new home and they enjoy it. So that's what I have for September. Of course, we're almost at the end of October. Sales did pick up a little bit, but I'm gearing up for the holiday season, and probably do a little less linens and a few more gift type items, Christmas items. So thanks so much for stopping by, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.